what they have done to our military and the leadership.
It's a disgrace. Biden's senile to have bisexual people advertising to get into service now.
Bisexual people advertising to get into the service? What? Maybe he's listening to this guy.
Gay marriage is in our Constitution, it is not allowed, and under our state law, it is not allowed. I would follow state law, whatever the state law is, but maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think that marriage ought to be between a man and a woman.
That was the current governor of South Carolina talking about making gay marriage illegal. And there's more.
Well, I don't think there's really any such thing as a gay community, because in the Bible it says in Romans 1 why people fall into perversions, and like you should all just thank a straight person that we're all here today on the earth, and that we can all be friends.
There you go. That dude claims the gay community doesn't even exist because the Bible said so. Of course. And watch this guy.
I'm not anti any of that. I could care less what you do with your life. The moment you start pushing on me and my children, then I have an issue with it, you know.
What about, I'm going to play devil's advocate because it's my job a little bit. 1965, you come to the library here in Pickens, South Carolina, and there's a little display about civil rights and the March on Washington or the Birmingham church bombing.
See, this is not about rights. This is people telling me I have to be okay with who you are. You know, if they would come and talk to me and say, hey, this is who I am, I like to sleep with dudes, or I like this, okay, don't care.
And there's another guy, he says, I don't care what you do, just don't tell me that I have to accept you. So that means you do care what I do, because you're not willing to accept me. Make up your mind. So this is what's going on. These are all supporters and members of the Republican Party, and anyone who is pro-rights for anybody to have marriage, to live freely, to not live in a homophobic society, should want to not have the Republicans in control, because clearly Republicans don't like the LGBTQ plus community. We saw some of those statements right there. And the fact is, if you have someone who's a relative, if you have a friend, if you are yourself a member of the LGBTQ plus community, just know when the decision was made by the Supreme Court to take away a woman's right to choose, Clarence Thomas went out of his way to indicate that they would look at gay marriage next. That's how it works. They first go after women's rights, then gay rights, then religious minority rights, etc., etc., etc. I'm here to tell you because I was born in Iran, and Iran, before the Islamic Republic, before the Islamic Revolution, was much freer than it is now. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was much freer. It was kind of like there were certain rights that people had, the way we have rights right now in America, that were taken away. And guess who they went after first? They went after women. They made them cover themselves up. Islamic law said, cover yourselves up. We're taking away your rights. The same way in America, they started taking away a woman's right to choose, to make a choice about her own body. And then in Iran as well, they started going after the LGBTQ community, similar to what they're going to do over here in America if the Republicans win. So if you have anybody that you know that is a member of the LGBTQ community, or maybe you are yourself, just know that they're coming for you. And these people are intolerant. That last guy we saw, he said, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do with your life. Just don't put it on me. Who's forcing this guy to read any books about the LGBTQ community? Just because there's a book in the library that talks about issues of that sort doesn't mean that this guy has to check it out. I'm sure there's a lot of other books in the library that talk about other things the guy doesn't agree with. You don't have to check it out. Are we going to start doing book bannings now because this guy doesn't want other people to read about it? I have people that have come up to me before and go, hey, did you hear they're teaching our kids to be gay? Who's teaching your kid to be gay? You're either gay or you're not gay. They don't teach you to be gay. I think if we open our minds and hearts a little bit more to those around us, then perhaps if there's someone in your family who has been living in fear of coming out and living their lives as a member of the LGBTQ community, maybe if you show love and tolerance, they will come out and live freely. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. I have a relative who grew up feeling like they had to hide it. And once they came out, I believe that it made them a lot happier. But these people that we just saw talking don't want you to do that because in their minds it doesn't exist, because the Bible said it doesn't exist. And that governor of South Carolina thinks that it shouldn't exist. So really we should live by the rules of the governor of South Carolina. If he doesn't like it, we ain't gonna do it. Really? Really? People, wake up, register to vote, vote these people out. They're out of their minds. They're living from a book that's 2,000 years old, and they're trying to implement their beliefs in you. Anytime anyone ever says, God told me, that means they're about to lay down some crap on you that's a bunch of intolerant crap, and they're going to tell you why you should follow it, because God told me. Yeah, God told me you're an idiot. You're an idiot for thinking like this. In the year 2024, where have you been? Where have you been? Open up your mind, be tolerant, love your neighbor, and if you don't want to read the book, then don't read the book, you numbnut. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I have a comedy special here on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Check it out. I hope you like it. If you do, tell your friends. Give a super thanks. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves.